Hi there, I hope you're well. I'm gonna start doing a check-in on Sundays, and I'm gonna give you updates on where I am as an artist. I think it would be really fun if other artists participated in this, just so that we can all relate to one another and hear about what everybody's up to, and to also keep myself accountable for what I'm working on. So where I am as an artist right now is, so I went on vacation. I was sick during the end of that vacation and when I got back for a couple of weeks. And that kind of took me out a little bit. So it was tough to feel the energy to make anything or create things. I also think, for me at least, summer is kind of a harder time to feel creative. I typically love to hold myself into the house, in the fall and the winter, all the cold months tend to be my favorite. So I feel like I create the most during those times, or I feel the most inspired. And it could be that for me, I'm a little bit attracted to the melancholy. It's not that I love being sad necessarily, but I make and write things with that sort of tone. I sort of feel those feelings the deepest, sort of sad emotions, but I love being able to feel all of my feelings very deeply because it helps me feel human. And I know that we have to feel all of these things in order to grow. So yeah, in the summertime, I think people just are in a lighter, happier mood. The sunshine and the warmth, I feel like it tends to put people in a better mood. And so I find myself spending a lot of time outside, and I feel very grounded and inspired by nature. And so I'm trying to get back into the swing of writing. I sort of flow between the different mediums of art that I like to create. Sometimes I'm feeling more drawn to drawing or the visual arts. Most of what I create is songs. I have writing from my whole life, and that's just, that creativity comes more naturally to me, is to write lyrics and melodies and just express myself through singing. And sometimes I feel the most inspired to do that. But then there's other times where I just really want to write essays and poems. And I've written poetry throughout my life, but when you write songs and then you hop over to something like poetry, you see how many differences there is. They're very similar, obviously, but it was interesting to write poetry was such a different art than writing songs, and I really enjoyed it. And so I've continued to do that for several years since I've taken that class. That was one of my favorite classes I ever took when I was in university. And yeah, so I've always sort of written essays, or I used to write screenplays when I was younger. So it's easier for me, I think, to articulate myself through writing and the feelings that I have. But as far as projects that I have going on right now, I posted the flower video yesterday, and I was trying to experiment with movement with that arrangement. The flowers that I purchased sort of had natural curvature to them. The tulips were all sort of leaning a certain way, or they were bent a certain way, and so I liked the idea of maybe having things flow in different directions and sort of create that visual interest that way. I just like to add different textures or different volumes of the flowers in there, things that are different heights, and play with that a little bit. So that's new to me, but I am so inspired by flowers and just, like I said, nature in general. So I think that's a fun way to create something with my hands. So as far as other projects, I definitely have different writing pieces that I'm working on, and I'm feeling very much in a writing mood right now. So I'm trying to get back into that and write every day. And I think other artists could definitely relate to this of just having a lot of projects and then abandoning them. And when you get inspired or have like a new idea and you move to another one, or maybe you're too afraid to finish the thing, or you feel like you'll never get done with a certain thing because you might feel like a perfectionist, or you feel like you're gonna mess it up. So I definitely have some digital art that I was working on, and I haven't touched it in a while because I just started working on other things. So I'm trying to make myself finish things, because I've done that my whole life. It's just like always started projects, and I think because for me, I find the most enjoyment in the process of it, and I don't always know what I want the end to look like. And so sometimes I feel like I stop because I feel satisfied with the kind of like emotional experience that I went through while I was working on whatever project it was. But I would really like to finish things more and be able to share that with you. I've been working on a song that I started in the beginning of July, and it's inspired by one of my favorite films. And I have written a lot of songs that were based on things that movie characters were going through. Movies are part of what taught me to feel my emotions or help me gain emotional intelligence. And we're all moved by different types of media or different subjects. I have wanted to start a series where I start sharing some original songs that were inspired by different films that I've watched. So I'm gonna be posting this song this week. I don't want to share what the movie is yet, but yeah, so I'm excited to do that. I haven't posted it yet and I've been working on it for 2 months because it just hasn't felt like quite right to me. But I think that I should just stop being afraid of it and just record what I have. And my originals, sometimes when I share them, I'll say like part 1. And part of that is because my songs tend to change over time. I might feel differently about them as I work on them and come back to them. So I'd like to be able to share different versions of these songs with you as they get more polished, share that journey with you. But I would love to hear what's been inspiring you lately and what you're working on, if you are interested in sharing. One last thing that I wanted to say is that I definitely have some fear when I think about posting especially my original songs, because those lyrics can be so personal to me, or it feels very vulnerable to share your writing. And I'm gonna keep trying to make myself do it. I always feel so appreciative when somebody feels vulnerable enough or comfortable enough or safe enough to share their stuff with me, whether that's art or just anything going on in their lives. I think it's important to take other people's work seriously and give it respect. Helps us feel more connected to one another and know that we're not alone in our experiences. I hope you have a great week, and yeah, if you want to chat, just send me a message or a comment. And I hope you find so much beauty in your life, and that this next month is great for you too. And I will see you next week and share with you some updates about where I am as an artist then. Okay, bye.